Good evening, good evening. Welcome back, wherever it is that you guys may be tuning in from. I appreciate you, as always, for tuning in. If you're new here, we'll get into introductions shortly. But what I'd want to do is get into the conversation tonight. And before we do so, what I need you to do is one, if you are the person that's looking to move abroad and topics regarding relocation are on your radar, stay right where you are. If you know someone else that is looking to move abroad, to relocate, 2026 is the year that they said that they were going to move abroad. What I need you to do is share the live, share this wherever it is that you are watching it. That way, the people that can get the information and need the information can hopefully tune in with us tonight. Because tonight's conversation is not only based off of what you need to know, there's a lot of things that you know that you need to put into your relocation toolkit in your tool bag when it comes to leaving the United States. However, there are some nuanced conversations which, if you guys do not know where you guys are, you are on the Move Travel Abroad podcast. And what we do is get you prepared. You, the person that is looking to leave the United States and move out of the United States onto a foreign destination. But what does that look like? Outside of the resources, the ones that you know you need, which are housing and visas, those are the ones that are usually at the forefront. But oftentimes, you and many of the people that are looking to move abroad forget that there are many more nuanced things that come into not only relocating, moving abroad, but succeeding in moving abroad. And the preparation for moving abroad is a lot of times where people get hung up. They forget to do the research on what that looks like. They forget to prepare themselves for realistically what you have never been prepared for. So tonight's conversation is going to go there. It is going to talk to you about something we call it the elephant in the room because a lot of people are asking this question. I get this often, but it is a more nuanced question than you are, I would say, privy to in the United States of dealing with in the way that you have normally have. When people jump in my DMs, they're often asking what life is like. Excuse me. What life is like when you move abroad. How are the people? What's it like learning a new language? What's it like experiencing a new culture? But one of the questions that often come up is, you know, is racism there? Is Are the isms there that some people in the United States may be used to dealing with, have come to what could be considered as easy as the American way. Some, just some, and I don't mean to blanket anyone, but there are a number of people that know that America has its own brand of racism and thinking that one of the reasons that you're looking to move abroad is to escape some of the things that American racism breeds. It brings into a conversation that is a global conversation. I do not know where you are going to go, but I do know for certain that the isms are there. All of the isms that you experience and expect in America are there. They may look a little bit different, they may come in a little bit different ways, but they're there. And what you may not realize is oftentimes when Americans leave the United States, and I'm talking to the people that are the marginalized people, the LGBTQ, people of color, whatever subculture you are where you aren't the majority. I bring that up is because a lot of times you think that, oh, well, these things operate the exact same way in the United States as well as on the other side of the TSA. And in some instances, they do. But oftentimes, one of the first things that you will realize as somebody that goes to move abroad is if you're marginalized or feeling as if you're a part of the minority in the United States, you go abroad and you're not categorized that way. It may be some of the first time that many of us are treated like an American. And within that lies the nuances. And when it comes to racism and the isms that are available and present, whether you go there or not. So we're going to get into some, I would say, relatively hard truths to consider, relatively hard topics to put on your radar. because I know a lot of you guys are looking to escape the nonsense that is America, the police brutality, the marginalization of minorities. These things are definitely present in the United States. But to think that the isms don't exist in the other places, I would tell you you are mistaken. And I understand why. So, tonight's conversation, what I want you guys to do is not only pay attention and listen intently, because this is designed to help you sustain when you move abroad. The move abroad part is easy. Packing a bag, picking a place, that's easy. But what you are looking for when you say you are looking to relocate, when you're looking to move abroad, when you're looking to leave the United States and go to another country, you're looking for sustainability in said place. You wouldn't jump out of the fire pan and into the fire and then think that that was a step up or a better service to you. So what you're looking for is sustainability, and with the sustainability becomes safety and comfortability in your new environment. And the thought process that racism is only in America or racism doesn't exist, depending on where you're going, you might know that it exists, or you might be cloaked into the isms and the other isms, not racism, but excuse me, classism, sexism, these isms that travel around the world, and you may not, one, be in the marginalized people anymore. How do you operate with that? So we're going to have some tough conversations tonight because based off of a lot of things I'm seeing, it is time. I'm seeing things in Mexico. I am seeing things in here in Colombia, and I'm realizing that a lot of Americans don't realize that racism is a global pandemic. Racism is like water; it is everywhere in the world. Even the little places that in the desert, they can squeeze out a little bit of water every once in a while. It's going to find its way there eventually. It exists. But the question is, and more so not the question, it is more so the thought process is how do you navigate this? Because you, were the marginalized person in America, may first be treated like an American when you leave. That was the first time I remember getting treated like an American. Depending on how you identify in the United States, you may consider me black or you may consider me an African American. But none of those things, they have either a hyphenation or a different thing. I'm not the average American, and I can only talk about myself and my experience with this, but you might find some synergy in what it is that I'm saying. The reason why is because when you go to a place, when you are no longer in the United States, you are often treated like an American first, not a black man, not a gay person, not a woman, not a Asian, not a person of color, whatever the subcategory or minority is. You aren't treated like that. You are actually treated like an American first, and it's the first time that that may have come across your table. A lot of times I prepare you, the people that are looking to move abroad, with some important things to realize that one, you have weapons that you cannot use in the United States, and two, you have a privilege that means nothing to you in the United States as well. You might say, oh, well, I'm just the average American. I'm not rich. What weapons do I have? We'll get them out so you guys can get right to it. The two weapons that you have is one, an American passport, and two, the American dollar. But both of those inside of America don't do much for you. $30,000 inside of the United States doesn't give you a safe life. But $30,000 on the global scale can give you a different life. It's a weapon, but you have to be on the other side of the TSA to use it. If you get a United States passport, you're not going to be in a scenario where that passport has any value to you in the United States. I mean, it's identification. But most Americans are not even in a position to have a passport, never mind having identification. So most of you guys are in a position to use the value of a passport until you go to leave the United States. So you got these two weapons that you just can't use. And then you have this thing that you just woke up here with. Nobody chooses to be a marginalized person. You are just what you are. Yet America and the systems and the things that it has and the isms that it has in there may treat you a certain way because of who you rightfully and naturally are. And you might say, well, it clearly can't be like this because a lot of people, especially folks that don't understand American history, don't realize that things like slavery, things like racism, these things weren't just an American thing. We just have a certain level of education. because the chattel slavery, the entire process started long before the United States got into it. So there are millions of Africans spread across the diaspora that are experiencing colonization. They're experiencing gentrification. They're experiencing scenarios where racism and on top of classism. One of the things I don't feel like we have to do with black people or marginalized people is as much classism as much as I can see in other places. Whereas when you get abroad, you've got the isms and they're all available, plus the ones that we're used to. And we're not realizing that you may be in a situation where you're running out of America, running out of racism, running out of the rat race, running out of the terrible police brutality, running out of the prison, the school to pipeline prison, running out of those things, and not realizing that these things are already present where you are. It's just the first time in your life that they don't impact you. And this is always what I tell people, because you don't ever realize who you're going to be when America's weight is off you. The first time you get America's weight off you, you don't know how you're going to act. Oh, well, I'm going to act like this. You don't even know. You've never had it. You don't even understand what it's like to have the keys to the Ferrari. You just always owned a Ferrari. It just didn't work in the United States. The moment you get outside, you get all this American privilege. You get all this American dollar where that $30,000 a year job now provides you a life that you always wanted. It's the exact same money. And it's always a question and a reflection point into who you are, which I always ask you guys if you aren't new here, who are you? Because is are you with the people? Are you for the people? Are you one hand in the air? Are you at the protest because you're marginalized too? So you want to fight for the people, but the moment that you are no longer marginalized, you just don't care. Because you guys have to realize, and I can only speak to us and me, people like that happen to look like me and happen to consider a lot of times when moving into spaces what racism could look like, where it is that I'm going. And realizing that for the first time in your life as a Black American, you could come into a place where there's a whole bunch of Black people, but they aren't treating you like them, even though they look like you. Who are you? How do you navigate that? What does that look like? We're all on the internet because you have to be on the internet to be able to see this. But we're all on the internet. And I say that is because we probably all see the same thing. Some people see more of it, some people see less of it. But what I'm about to say, I'm not going to bring in a foreign concept. People talk about the diaspora wars all over the world. I told you, they took people from Africa and dropped them all over the world and didn't take them back. They didn't even give them their language back. They didn't give them all of their culture back. They adopted new language, kept some things, adopted new cultures, blended the two. But these things were happening way before 1776. 1400s and 1300s and 1500s, these people were coming here and dropping people off with goals to build whatever their empire was. I'll tell you guys that is because they were coming from the same place. Now, this isn't a history lesson and we all was them. We're not here to do those things, but I want to point out some things that are facts. The facts of the matter are what happened was one people were taken from somewhere and scattered. Imagine your family reunion, and they took half of your family, a quarter of your family reunion, and they said 25% of you, we're going to drop you in Brazil. 25% of you, we're going to drop you in Colombia. 25% of you, we're going to drop you in the Caribbean. And 25% of you, we're going to drop in Bermuda. You never saw each other again. You grew up new in different languages and different cultures, but you guys all have the same blood. You guys have to realize that these things are always on the radar when you consider is racism abroad. You're asking not is racism abroad, is the racism there going to impact me? That's why I asked you, who are you? Because do you only want sympathy when you're the one under the gun? Or do you want sympathy for all of the people that are impacted by racism? Because what we see in situations that are going on that are current, take what's going on in Puerto Vallarta right now. A lot of people are down there. There's Mexico just in general. I think anybody that lives in Mexico as an American right now probably got a call from one of their family members or friends and asked, is everything okay down there? Are you all right? If you were down the street or even in the country, people were asking, or is everything okay? And everybody, for the most part, was perfectly fine. And you got to realize the insulation that you have because of the privilege that you have. One of the things I tell people is always have a flexible plan because you, believe it or not, have a privilege that you've never been able to maneuver. Oh, what do I mean? If things go bad in America right now, they're bad, and a lot of people can't leave. There is no option for them to leave. They have no flexible plan B. They can't go to another country. They have no way to make money. They don't even think that far. They're just, what can I do? So I do nothing. Understand that. If you're looking at relocation, you're not one of those people. But when you go to relocate and you go and you want to pick Colombia or Mexico or South Africa or anywhere these places that they're on your destination list, what you don't realize is you now have the flexibility to say, if it gets hairy here, I could just leave. You don't have that privilege in the way that you have it outside of the United States inside. So when you guys are asking me, is racism there and this race, how's the racism there? And it's like, well, as an American, I mean, once they hear that I speak English and once they know I have American dollars, maybe it's not as racist as if I was an Afro-Colombian. Maybe they would treat me differently because they would think that I wasn't supposed to be there. What you guys don't realize is a lot of these places, and Colombia specifically, and I can only speak here, and I went to go verify it because I heard it in the streets, and I went to go verify it just to make certain before I said it out loud. But one of the things that I saw was the average Colombian born into poverty doesn't. It takes 11 generations for them to get out of poverty. As I mentioned, they were bringing in unenslaved people and then enslaving them in these places that were on this side of the world. Years, hundreds of years before the United States was even put all together. The free town of Palenque and out of Cartagena, they were an entire free sovereign state place before the United States was even the United States. So these things were already fought. They were already done. When I get into the conversations about slavery and what it looked like here, they've got their Harriet Tubmans, they've got their Malcolm X's and Sojourner Truths, and it's like you guys don't realize that the is it racism there is a loaded question for Americans to ask. Racism is everywhere. Your better question is it going to impact me? And I'm going to say, maybe not as much, but what do you care about? Because if you can look over people being done wrong, being stepped over, being treated badly, does that make you no better than the racist or the person that you're saying is doing you wrong? I saw something yesterday, and there was some racist things that were going down on here in Colombia, and you say, oh, there's racism in Colombia. And depending on who you ask, some people will say there's no racism in Colombia. I am telling you, there is racism everywhere, everywhere. So do not believe that it doesn't get to Colombia or anywhere else. And I'm not saying Colombians are racist, just like I'm not saying all Americans are racist, but racism lives in America and it lives in Colombia and it lives a bunch in all of these different places. But one of the things that I saw was, oh, well, uh, 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 you guys, and they were talking about Afro-Colombians, like, oh, well, you guys just want to completely talk about race all the time and race all of this. And first of all, like, you guys have to realize most of the time, well, not most of the time, the facts are we didn't bring race into the mix of all of this. There was an entire power structure and situation where race was put as the currency, as the value of humanity. So to consider, oh, black people being sensitive or brown people being sensitive to, is there racism there? I understand the question. It's just a more nuanced question than what obviously it's been positioned as on the internet with the move abroad. Are people racist there? Yeah, people are racist to some people, but you're going to get treated like an American. And then if they might be super racist and say, yeah, you are black American, so I'm going to treat you a different way, or I'm going to talk to you in a different way. You ever had somebody start speaking jive to you? You don't speak like this. Yes, they do this globally. It's not just an American thing. And you guys have to realize when I talk about this, it is to give you guys some understanding that reality is real. And what the reality of it is, even marginalized people can become their oppressors given the opportunity to. I always have people come and visit me in Medellin and they go certain places. And, I want to do more as guys getting back in, but we're doing things with the community and volunteering and everything else. But just hanging out with my homies, my local Colombian homies, I'm just busy. I say that is because I get a lot of friends and people that come and they're like, where are the black people at? Like, not the ones in tourism or in the clubs. Like, where are the black people? I'm like, well, they're not going to be in the tourist places and they're not going to be in the environments that you're going to frequent with your US dollars. As I mentioned, if the average Colombian born into poverty is going to take 11 generations to get out of poverty, what do you think the black people are? You guys don't think that places where they're all black cities and all black states, where in the United States, these places are marginalized, underfunded, these places don't have the resources that they need to service the community. You don't think you think that's just America? No, you take places in like Chaco and Quibdó, and the people that I've met, like Kima and the woman that we met this weekend, like these people have come from different places outside of Medellin. Medellin is a big place. And in these places, people are forgotten about because they look like not the majority of people. The same way that you could be in a scenario where racism is beating and bearing you down, or you're not able to get ahead, or you've got all the right qualifications, but you still can't get the job or get the promotion. That's not an American only thing. Our people of the diaspora all around the globe are still dealing with many of the same things that you just think is isolated to America. And once you leave, everything is going to be fixed. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. Some of it will be fixed in your life and you'll have application to those things. But to think that the local people, as I always tell you guys, there's a whole entire population of people living here, living there, living here, living wherever it is that you decided, oh, I have it on my radar to live. You think that people aren't marginalized? You think classism isn't a thing? You're dealing with racism. Imagine if you're dealing with classism, elitism. Imagine everybody wanted to act like the talented 10th and that the rest of the 90% didn't matter. Those things are on a global scale on top of racism being present. Maybe for the first time, it's not going to beat you upside the head because you're seen as an American first and not insert minority first, but you can still experience it. You can still experience the people coming to you and talking to you and jive because they're seeing Black American culture only in a lens because it's not even in their face often. We often see people go to Asian cultures and where they do not see a many black people, whether they're African people or American people or black people of any from place. They don't really see them up close. So they're touching their hair and wanting to take pictures and calling them Black Panther and Beyonce. What do you think these things are? Now, it might not be a power structure designed around racism and decide to strip humanity and put people down. But there are a lot of places and a lot of the top destinations for American expats to go. There's a lot of racism on ground for the people that look just like you. That if they don't open their mouth and you put them in the same exact outfit, you wouldn't know who was from where. But now they speak Spanish and you speak English. So now they're not allowed in the restaurant, but they're ushering you in. We move into these places with the same thought process that people from in America that we label as gentrifiers go. We don't know the language, we don't know the culture, and people ask me all the time, "Are you fluent?" No, I'm not. I'm trying to learn all of the time. I do my best to speak more Spanish than I did the last day, but I'm always learning. I'm spending a lot of time in front of you guys speaking English because I realize how important it is to impact the people that is coming behind me. Because even though I'm not able to do all of this that I want to do, we're still impacting a lot of things in this community that are designed to better the community. Whether it's bettering the people that are coming in here and asking to be a part of the community, whether it's spending the time and the resources and energy to give back and get others to give back, whether it's time, energy, money, resources, these things are important and of value. I've realized that I don't get treated like an Afro Colombian because I'm American in Colombia. They're like, you have different money to spend. I remember a buddy of mine, Juan David, he literally told me, when I go to nice restaurants, they come up to me speaking English and I don't speak English. I only speak Spanish. He speaks a lot more English now, but this is when I first got here. And I said, why is that? He said, well, they don't expect black Colombians to have the money that we have to be able to spend in these kind of restaurants. Most of the time, it's gringos. And it's always funny because when Americans get out, they hear the word gringo and they're like, wait, hold on. What do you mean a gringo? How am I a gringo? You're telling me that a cowboy from Montana and me from the inner city of insert major city are all gringos? Yeah, because they're going to treat you like an American. Even that little $30,000 that is barely possibly getting by where you're doing, you're going to get out of the United States and make that and be able to afford all of the things that you ever wanted. You're no longer the marginalized person on the face card. Do you forget about the marginalized people because you're no longer in the box with them? That's what I'm seeing a lot of you doing. I saw on Stephanie Perry, she asked, are we becoming the people that we are looking to escape? And not saying that is any particular subset of people, but I told you guys oftentimes you can be the gentrifiers that you are saying that you don't want to be around, that you are tired of taking up your neighborhood, being part of the isms. Maybe you're not being a racist part of this, but the other isms that you're doing because you come unprepared, unwilling to learn, unwilling to adapt to what already exists without you. And then not realizing that there's a lot of people that look like you that are going through exactly what you are, but even maybe even worse. And the resources that we can work together, we talked about this, that 11 generations. I don't even know what the number is if we have to isolate it down to black people. And the reason I mention that is because as a person that I know where my parents and my grandparents came from. My grandfather, his father was the son of the slave master. So that's about four generations. Imagine if you, right where you are, if you're successful right where you are, you still had seven generations to go just to see daylight. And you don't think racism lives abroad? We volunteered a couple of weeks ago down here. If you guys ever met Medellin, we try to do once a month, either at a different volunteer organization because it's a big city, so there's a lot of organizations down here. And I was talking to Kima from La Cocina de Kima, and they have a soup kitchen. Well, it's not a soup kitchen; it's a food kitchen. And what they do is they feed about 70 to 90 kids and vulnerable elderly in a community every day, Monday through Friday. So we'll get you guys donation opportunities, get linked up so you guys can donate to them. Literally $300 a week feeds all of those people, all 90 people 5 days a week. That's 450 people a week for $300. A lot, like, money can go far down here. But that's not the reason I tell you that. Because Kima, when we went to go visit, one of the most unique things I saw, so she was in there cooking with her mother and her sister, and she had her children there and her niece. And those things were important because it was a family situation and they were all giving back. But we got to talking to Kima, and Kima was telling us where she was from. And she is from the outside of the main state, where the main city. So there's a state where it's majority black, and then there's a main city. She says she lives about 2 hours from there. And she moved to Medellin, obviously, for better resources, better opportunities, and things of that nature. But she said where she came from, they didn't have any running water or electricity. She said everybody goes to bed at 6 p.m. because that's what time it gets dark. Yet here she was in Medellin, in one of the neighborhoods that needed somebody to reach back just a little bit, giving food to people that couldn't feed themselves. And what I'm always amazed with here is the resiliency of us. And no matter where we are and where we go, resilience is in us. And I'm not saying that we deserve to always have to be resilient, but one thing for certain is the racism abroad, does it exist? It does. The thing, issue, and the reason why Americans need to be aware of racism existing abroad is because it might not impact you, but it is impacting people that look like you in ways that you may not even be able to wrap your head around. You may be doing things that may be not racist, but transferring to the addition of the isms that are making it harder for people that look like you Never mind people that don't look like you that just need to be able to live in a place that was theirs. These things are all really important to consider when you're thinking about moving abroad because a lot of you ask questions like moving abroad is Narnia. It's a fantasy world. It's a place where all of your dreams come true. And a lot of Americans that have moved abroad paint it that way. I see it all of the time. I moved abroad and I wasn't a rich person in the United States by any means. I had an average salary, but when I moved here, I'm now the 1%. Huh. How do you feel? What do you do with that? What do you do with this American privilege that you've never even had the chance to walk around with? You ever seen somebody in a new coat? They walking around like, I got a new coat on. I'm walking like a peacock. You see me? You're not realizing that yes, this stuff exists. It just no longer impacts you. And that's why I always say give you guys the mirror before you leave and say, who are you? Do you know who it is before you leave? Because you got to get some keys to some weapons and that you already had. And you say, oh, I already had this, but I didn't think it was anything valuable. This is actually valuable to me. Oh, I'm big and bad now. I can throw money. I can do this. Who are you? Are you contributing to the isms that can be a part of it, the gentrifications, the taking away opportunities from people? I see people moving to Mexico and different places, and they're like, "Well, that didn't impact me. You know, it's cars on fire. It's safe in Mexico. I'm not worried about it. What you talking about? Might be safe for you because you're no longer part of the marginalized people. You're not poor anymore. You're not black. You're not a woman. You're not gay. So it doesn't matter to you because it doesn't impact you anymore." That's why I often caution Americans when moving abroad because it is often a time for reflection, and a lot of people come up becoming people that they didn't think that they would be. I think it's insensitive when things come up. Yes, you have the flexibility to leave. Nobody's saying stay anywhere that's not safe for you. But when people ask, is it racism in Colombia? And I hear Americans saying, there's no racism. I hear white Americans saying, there's no racism in America. Who is going to be racist to you? So how can you answer that? I can't answer, is it how bad is it for gay people? I'm not gay. I wouldn't know. I can tell you how it looks, but I'm not living the life. So when you ask Colombians and Afro Colombians and Black Colombians, they're like, yeah, I deal with racism and I deal with classism. Or some flat out deny it. We got Trump supporters and people that deny plenty of facts. That this is a global thing. But the majority of you guys are acting like, nah, racism don't exist. There's no racism in Mexico. There's no racism in Panama. Have you talked to a local? Have you talked to a person that is marginalized in a place that you're going online and telling people there's no ism there? I don't think so, because if you did, you would pause yourself and say, there's no way that I, one, have the ability to speak on it. And two, I have the ability to sit there and blanket an entire place in an operation in a situation that I don't live. I saw that. I saw that. The people from Origin Culture, they literally getting some things together because, you know, one thing I appreciate about Colombia is the community supports each other. And somebody, I think the comment came off was like, you guys are once again always talking about racism and always talking about this. And it's like, we live this. They live this. There's places where you're going to go and you can't see, you're not going to go see people that are black from Colombia because the wages don't match up. They're not getting the jobs and the opportunities. The place where all of the people, the Mississippi of Colombia, where all of this a majority black state, they're not getting the funding and the resources. Yet it's exasperated on top of how crazy things could get in a majority black state that is underfunded and under resources, and every resource they do have, they're taking out of them. These people got mines and natural resources that they're going in and extracting at the same time they're not even building roads. And you're asking me, is racism there? What research have you done? What information have you looked into to go ask these questions as if you don't have the same Google that everyone has on the world? Have you gotten into following people? It's not 2026. You got the ability to translate any conversation that you want to. If you don't speak the language, at least sit and listen to the people from on the ground and listen and tell them to tell their story. Listen to see what they're doing. You're saying with all the resources that you have that you can't do this and this is not possible. Yet I'm seeing people with a speck of what Americans are coming here with and doing so much for the community. I'm seeing people that are saying, hey, you're not going to treat our people like that. And we're going to grassroots and get in support and get behind these people. The things that we grew up with and seeing that those things were squashed down and dwindled away, these things are alive. These things exist. These movements are still happening and need to happen. We need to support each other. And a lot of people are thinking that the Narnia that they believe in their head exists on the other side of the TSA, waiting for them with their blue passport and American dollars and saying, I can leave it all behind because it no longer concerns me. And you're right. You could leave it all behind. You could make it no longer concern you. I see too many people move abroad and it no longer concern them. You're screaming for help. You're screaming to say, this isn't right. You have your foot on my neck in America. Yet the moment you get the foot off your neck and it no longer concerns you, you start asking questions. Oh, is it racism there? Look around. They dropped us off in multiple places around the world. You think they just went and treated us good from the jump? Hmm? Oh, Brazil is such a beautiful place. There's no racism there. Go ask a black Brazilian if it is racist in Brazil before you go move there thinking that the racism ain't gonna blanket you. I need you guys to wake up. I'm getting more nuance. I'm getting more truths. I'm getting more hard conversations. It's getting time. I know a lot of you are gearing up for 2026. You've already decided, narrowed down to your destinations and said, this is where I'm going. I'm starting to get my scouting trips together. I'm starting to do the research. I'm in the Facebook groups. But is the research actually going to sustain you? Is the research you're doing just fundamental things or foundational things that you are going to need to build a life? Are you ready to give back? Are you ready to be a part of community? Are you ready to embrace racism and it no longer impacts you the way that it has, but it still impacts the people that you say you want to be a part of their community? You're going to turn a blind eye. Are you going to live in your bubbles of, I just want to live in, I go to McDonald's, I spend time with my expat friends, and don't be wrong, I got plenty of my expat friends, and I got plenty of my other friends. I've met people from all over the world, not just Colombia here. And I say that is because I'm doing my best to give you something that we wish we would have had. I wish somebody would have told me what it would have felt like the first time I realized I was going to get treated like an American and I was no longer getting treated like a black man. That you wanted to usher me into places, you wanted to potentially put me through the back door when I was in the United States. I didn't know what that was going to feel like. I didn't know that was going to be on my radar. I didn't know that racism wasn't going to impact me the same way. Yet the people that it was impacting looked exactly like me. The only thing that saved me was the way I had wore my hat. They heard me on the phone and speaking English with an American accent, and I have a Philadelphia accent, so they knew I wasn't from around here. That's the only reason they didn't tell me to get out or follow me around the store. The same things that you may be looking to escape. You think they just stopped there? You think they just ended there? No, you just may not be a part of them anymore. And my job for you is to wake you the hell up and realize that, yes, it may not impact you, but that doesn't mean that you get to become on the other side of this colonizer scenario. Oh, I'm no longer the colonized, so that stuff doesn't matter to me. No, it does. And this matters to you whether you are a black person, brown person, Asian person, a Caucasian person. This doesn't matter. Racism exists. You can still be a part of the problem, even in another country. If you don't speak up and say something, then you are doing nothing. And I need more of you guys to realize that. I need you guys more to drive in the driver's seat of your life and drive in the driver's seat of this relocation scenario and be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. The problem is getting viral on the internet. The passport people, the people that are going there to exploit for women or men, the people that are going there and telling you everything is so cheap. It's not cheap for the people that live there. You're making content and making it seem like, oh, well, I'm going there because everything is so cheap. It's not cheap for the people that live there. When you go spreading all of your American joy and your American gentrification and your American values and your American money with no thought process besides what you are looking to escape, You are now becoming the person that nobody wants to be. Oh well, they're treating me different because you went and came and became an American. We're not even able to have kindred spirit from a synergy of, oh, we actually look like each other. Oh, there's kindred spirit and we could even learn from each other. Never mind shared physical features. Why? Because you came out like Cristobal Colombo. You came out like Amerigo Vespucci. You came out like a colonizer that so many people did, spreading good cheer and putting their mission together and wanting to overtip people. And it's like you could be who you're running from. You could be the person when you ask me, is racism abroad? Not realizing that. I'd be like, well, what day do you land? Is racism abroad? What day do you land? It's here, but I'm just trying to figure out when more of it's coming here because I know for a fact that if you come here with that mindset, then you're just bringing more of it. You're bringing more of the isms. So what I need you guys to do is not only take this thing to heart, and I don't mean like take it to heart, feeling like negative about it. These conversations, like I said, you don't know me from a can of paint, or maybe you do know me at this point because you keep coming back. But my job isn't for you to like me. My job is for you to get what the resources and the foundational information that you actually need to know. I keep calling it foundational because it's something for you to build on. I can only bring you to certain things. You have to do so much that is out of my hands. You could take this conversation in one ear and throw it out the window and come and do exactly the opposite of what we talked about here tonight. They out here marching and they out here saying, "Hey, somebody was treated bad." Go stand next to him. You go stand next to him and want to be in the march when it's on you. The marginalized people ain't here, and you just want people to be treated the same way that you're looking. You ran to the place that they're looking. That if they could go to a place like they're looking to go here, and then you're looking to go there. Think about the dynamics of it. That you're the only one with the privilege of flexibility and mobility. I need you guys to realize it's hard. It's hard to look in the mirror. It's hard to look in the mirror when you realize that you may be what you are saying you are looking to escape. These conversations are designed to help you not be that person. Prepare before you leave. Prepare to take America's weight off you. Start asking now, who am I? At this big ass age, who am I? What are my values? What do I want? I tell you to do the exercise. The exercise should be old for the old people, but new for the new people. Get a piece of pen, get a pen and a piece of paper. Grab a book, old school. Grab a piece of paper, let it be blank. Draw a line down the middle. Once you draw that line down the middle, I need you to write everything you are looking on the left-hand side to leave in America. What is making you want to leave? Because you probably do not know why you are actually looking to leave. You got it right here. Write it down. Write it all down. Put it down, come back to it. Things are going to be like, oh, you know what? This is also some BS that I want to give up. The man want to go talk for 107 minutes or 110 minutes in the State of the Union and tell us how we winning and everybody losing. I want to leave that. Go make sure you start that document. But on that right-hand side, I need you not only to focus on the negatives, but I need you to focus on what could be. Don't think that Narnia exists, but you need to see what it is that you want. What do I want? What am I looking for in life? You ain't asked yourself that question in a long time because America ain't gave you the ability to. But I need you to go do that. I need you to go right on that left-hand side what you're looking for, and I need you on the right-hand side what you're looking to go get, what you need in your life, which was going to reset your core and what your values are, what you want out of this life. Because unless as you want to be in the driver's seat, in the power seat, I want the power. I want the ability to feel like I can exploit people. Because if you feel exploited and you want the ability just to exploit people, you don't feel bad. You just want your turn. So get real comfortable with knowing what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you leave it. And that allows you to walk within the intention of where it is that you're going and how you're going to show up. Because too many of y'all, yes, you, the one that ain't going to listen to this, too many of y'all are showing up in other countries and you should have never booked a ticket. Too many of y'all are showing up in other countries and only contributing to a problem that already exists without you. And then you're telling your friends to come. People always ask me, well, you get online and tell everybody to move. I don't convince anybody to do anything they don't want to do. My job is not to convince you to move. No. My job is to prepare you so that if you're going to come, if you show up, that you show up better than some of these unprepared people, these ignorant people, these people that are contributing to the problem, contributing to the isms, the racism, the classism, the sexism. the sexual tourism that is also a negative contribution to a society that does not need those things. These things are important to wrap your head around before you buy a ticket. I'm tired of seeing y'all and you didn't have this conversation with yourself. So I need you guys to have this conversation. Stop asking, is racism abroad? Racism always lives everywhere. Society doesn't breed, at this point, breed a scenario where racism can exist. Power struggles and dynamics often always come up. These things are just at this point in humans. Which when you look different, when you are different, there's always going to be some sort of power struggle. But what I need you guys to realize is the question when you are asking is racism abroad is not the good question. The question is really going to be if it doesn't impact you when you get there, are you going to act like it doesn't exist? Are you going to act like you just weren't in that boat and doesn't know what it feels like to have a foot on your neck? Are you not going to be a part of the community to be able to be a part of the solution? I don't know. But this conversation tonight was designed to help you figure out if you're really ready to move abroad. Does racism exist? The answer is yes. But hopefully you understand more nuanced of the answers to, that question and how loaded of it is. It's kind of like the safety question. Is it is it safe over there? No, it's not safe. If you do dumb stuff, no, it's going to be dangerous if you do dumb stuff. Just like if you do dumb stuff in the United States, it's going to be dangerous. The better question is, how do I navigate safety abroad? What does racism look like there? What does danger look like there? You see how better questions these are? When you guys think you got it all figured out, here comes RJ with another, damn, I didn't even think about it that way. It's okay. That's why we do this. That's why we exist. That's why this platform exists. What I need you guys to do is tap in with the resources. I need you to go to moodtravelabroad.com. MOOD travelabroad.com. What that does is unlock your ability to get connected to all of our team of experts. We have compiled experts all over the world that allow you not only to get connected to destinations, but also all of the other services that you need. You need student loan repayment. You need to get financial services. You need to learn how to move abroad with your kids, how to start a business online. I'm literally telling you, we are a one stop shop if you are serious about relocation. So there's a myriad of free relocation resources there. We just dropped an AI assistant. That guy allows you to talk to him. He's going to walk you through some of these questions that allow you to start planning your relocation. Maybe narrow down some of these destinations that we're connected to in Colombia and Mexico and Panama and South Africa. We just added Thailand on, so you guys will be able to get information on getting connected on the ground in Thailand. You also can get set up for our next group scouting trip. So we all have our anytime scouting trips, and you can get scouting trips to Colombia, Mexico, Panama, and South Africa at any time of the year that you want. However, our next group opportunity, so if you're a little scared and a little shy to do it by yourself, you guys can come down here to Medellin with us. That'll be March 30th through April 5th. You guys can get signed up now. Put your deposits down. What that Medellin scouting trip looks like is, I think it's 6 days, 5 nights, Monday through Sunday. What that is we bring you in, we get you connected to the community, the people that already live here, so that you can have some understanding of what you're going to be doing and who you could possibly doing it with on a daily basis. But we also give you the real stuff that you need. We put you guys in a room with our relocation seminar with all of our relocation experts, our immigration visa lawyer, our Medellin neighborhood expert, our healthcare provider, our real estate expert, both properties and rental, because you got to have somewhere to live. But over those next couple of days, outside of the community events and the people that we're getting you connected to, we're taking you on a neighborhood tour. We're taking you on apartment tours. We're showing you outside of Airbnb pictures what an apartment looks like. I'm 6'3". I might not look like it, but I can't fit in a full size bed. And Colombia doesn't have a lot of king size bed. You might need to turn some doors and inspect what you expect as far as what a house looks like, both inside as well as the outside neighborhood. We also do things that are practical, teach you how to get money out of an ATM, teach you how to shop at the local fruit market and the grocery store versus the major supermarket where you're going to spend and you can spend like you're living back in the United States. Yes, things are cheaper. No, it's not the only reason you should be leaving here, leaving America, but these things are best done with a guide so that you don't have to fumble out of the United States. One. Two, put yourself in a position to sell everything you own, move to a place, buy a $200,000 property, and get there and say, I don't like anything about this place. I'd rather you test drive your decision before you go and purchase a car that you've never actually pressed the gas pedal in. My job is just to connect you to the resources, the real talk, and conversations that you need because nobody gave me this hookup and I want y'all to have it. One thing everybody for certain that has moved abroad and has done it successfully will tell you the moment they moved abroad changed their life. It may have changed their life for the worse and they did it wrong. Or most of us who have done it and successfully done it change their life for the better and they remember that as the crossroads of where their life changed, their values changed. They were started being able to feel what they feel about being alive in the world and not just being alive in the United States. You have to understand it and live through it to know what it is that I'm talking about. But I want you guys to take this conversation about racism. I want you to take this conversation about who you could be when America's weight off of you. And I need you to sit on it. I need you to think about it. I need you to add it into your relocation toolkit. I need you to add it into your relocation book bag, into your journey, because you can be a part of the problem as soon as you get on the other side of the TSA. If you don't prepare yourself now, I need you guys to also be willing to work well with others. The diaspora is open and opportune time is right now with everything that is going on. However, you will be a gringo or a ignorant American or arrogant American if you come considering you just know what America is. So we will bring on conversations. You guys can also go on YouTube, Mood Travel Abroad. We recently had a conversation with one of my local friends, Dahana. She actually does tours down here. So whenever you guys are ready, she'll get you guys set up there in Cali, Colombia. She is a local that does tours down to Cali. She does Chico. These things are things that you need to put on your radar if connecting to the diaspora is important to you, if understanding that racism does exist. And just because it doesn't impact you anymore doesn't mean that it isn't impacting the people that look like you. My name is RJ. My job is to just connect you to the resources, the real talk, and those real conversations that you need. You guys go to moodtravelabroad.com, go to get the resources that you can get signed up for as far as free. You guys can get signed up for our relocation once again, March 30th through April 5th. I will see you guys soon. Shout out to everybody that has been following. I appreciate the comments. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, want to see us talk about something, bring on a resource that you need to hear from, jump into my comments, my DMs. Let me know what you want to see on this platform. It's designed with you in mind. But when I see something, I'm going to say something. So, last thought, because I just want to touch on this because it just happened. I know I was going to get going. But last thought, just Americans, the ones that are moving abroad, just because you don't get impacted by it doesn't mean you can tell everybody that it's safe. It's not safe for the people that are impacted. It's not dangerous, and America is dangerous too. You know, these conversations are just a little bit more nuanced than just saying it's fine here. I don't know what everybody's talking about. The people on the ground, the people, the business owners that are things are on fire. You can just go to another business. This is their lives. So I need everybody, as conflicts are going to continue to pop up. They popped up in Venezuela and everybody was calling me. They pop up in Mexico. Earlier this year or last year, it was Panama and the canal. They pop up and people call your phone and then you say, yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing to you. It may be everything to the people that look like you, or everything to the people that are impacted. So I need you guys to move within that spirit that we are all in this together. We are all in this world to be together, and our job is just to commune with each other. And you guys get to see that when you guys come out here and get on the other side of TSA. Tomorrow, we will be back live with Sabina from Digital Nomads for Good. I mentioned we are partnered with organizations down here that help digital nomads, expats, immigrants, whatever you want to frame yourself as, people that are coming from a foreign country, living in a new country. Get connected to volunteer opportunities, get connected to give back opportunities. Whether you want to donate money, you want to donate your time, donate your creativity, we have an opportunity for you. So we're going to get into who Sabina is, what Digital Nomads is for good, Digital Nomads for Good is, and how you guys can get connected, not only when you get to Medellin, but also when you get online and ready to give back, because we are here doing the work. We are not just people that tell you to go do something that we already aren't doing. So thank you once again, as always. I appreciate you. I will see you guys tomorrow with Sabina, and y'all stay safe and stay warm. It has been a pleasure.